More money is supposed to equal more happiness, right?
Wrong. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you my personal experience of taking over a $30,000 pay cut in 2023 and why I could not be happier about that decision. Right? By the end of this video, you're going to learn when it makes sense to take a pay cut and how to adjust your budget appropriately following this very bold move.
Hey wealth builders, and welcome back to another episode. My name is Mishak.
And I am Akiva. Now, as a certified financial planner and money coach for young professionals in their 20s and 30s, I have helped numerous young adults navigate challenging life decisions like this one, and I'm super excited to share with you all from firsthand experience what it was like going through this myself and how taking a pay cut has actually made me feel the richest I have ever felt. So first things first, why did I decide to take a pay cut, and what exactly am I saying when I said I took a $30,000+ pay cut? So let me set some context for y'all. So y'all know that up until basically this point, neither of us have ever made six figures in a year, right? We've always made under six figures. Now 2022 was a little bit of an exception for me. 2022 was actually my first year, and probably my last for quite a little while, and that's okay, right? Actually crossing the six-figure mark. How did I do this? I had a day job, then I had a salary, and then I also had a part-time job that I was working on top of a full-time job, right? And so both those things combined pushed me over the six-figure marker in the year 2022. Now, what happened? At the end of November of 2022, I decided to leave my job of almost 6 years. What that also did was basically put me in a position where I voluntarily took a pay cut. I started a new job that January of 2023, and I was making about almost $35,000 less. That's what I anticipate making by the end of the year. Is definitely $35,000 less than what I was making, what I made last year, essentially, what I would have made if I worked the whole year last year. And so that's what I mean. I actually ended up going full-time with the job I was working part-time, so that's how I kind of removed a source of income from myself just by doing that. I just went from part-time to full-time, and of course left my full-time job. And so now I am making much less, and I am probably the most happy that I have been in a very long time. Now, when did I make the decision, or how did I know it was the right time to move? I'm gonna let Mishak jump in here, because before I share that, I want to hear from you what he thought. He thought I was absolutely nuts when I told him that I was thinking about quitting my job. So I'm gonna let him talk about that.
And not that I thought that she was nuts. My thing was just about timing, right? So she technically ended, I think it was around November of 2022. Mm-hmm. So she had the entire month of December off, and we had planned for it and like how that would work financially and all that jazz. And she was actually able to really take a nice month off and just kind of de-stress and prepare for the new job that started like a little after the new year. So the reason why I didn't necessarily think that it was a good decision at that time is because her previous employer, the way how they would do things is that they would give their employees a bonus in, I believe it was February, or February is when they would announce the bonus, and then they would pay it out in March. And I was just like, okay, we're in November, like I get it, we're talking about December, January, February, and then March to receive your bonus, talking about 4 months of having to stew in whatever it is that you have going on. But I'm just like, you got a job where they be giving bonuses, where you could be leaving a large amount of money on the table, because if you leave, even if she had left in February, as long as that bonus was not paid out, they wouldn't give it to you, which I think is a little jerky, where if they've told you in February and then you announce like, hey, I'm leaving, that if the payment date hasn't passed, they snatch that money back. So I was like, you've done a lot of work. You're having an issue, yes, at this juncture, but you've done great work this year. Why are you giving up that bonus? Those were the reasons why I thought it was like, okay, like this isn't necessarily the best financial decision. And I come from, I guess, or my thought process is sometimes you just have to suck it up and push through if it's for a better end goal at the end, or if it's where there's a reward at the end. Like, again, you know there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like, oh, I'm telling you to just stay with this job for another 5-6 years. Like, you're talking a couple of months, 4 months or whatever at most, where you just kind of suck it up and do what you have to do and make it through. So that was where my mind was. Like, you're giving all of this up. You know, a lot of great benefits that her job had, in addition to bonuses and all that stuff. Like, they were paying for premiums for certain things that, you know, now we have to pay for. So it was a big shift. But, you know, that was my thought process.
Yeah, and in my head, I was like, I've already been sitting and stewing for months at this point. By the time I actually left, like, the situation started from months prior. So I was already kind of like dragging my feet, like, all right. And I gave them a ridiculously long notice too. And so I felt like at that point, it was like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here for another 4 months. Right. And so it was that, plus like also presented the opportunity to do bigger and better things when it comes to the business, and really put more energy and attention toward that, which was awesome to be able to do that, you know, in the few months after that, because I had more time on my hands. And so that was really what I was thinking. But why I would say I am the happiest I have ever been really at this point is because although I am making a lot less money, I'm also working less hours. Y'all, okay? I am not working full time at the moment. I'm working 32 hours a week. So still full-time classification, but not 40 hours a week like I was before. And that is a big reason why the pay cut was so, you know, as big as it was, is because I'm just simply not working one day out of every single week. And that work-life balance, I'm 100% remote, y'all. Whereas before it was hybrid. And so just even that.
She was gone in one day.
Listen, that one day a week was painful.
I'm going in 3.
And that doesn't mean it's any less painful. I'm also commuting further than you that one day a week. But anyway, so just that whole work-life balance, everything just works so much better for me now, where I really do feel like I have that work-life balance. I'm a lot less stressed. It's a lot smaller of a company, so I'm able to just navigate a lot better, which is one of the challenges of my older company, because I was reporting to so many different people, it felt like. And so it was just a good move all around. Now, the money sacrifice, it was definitely a sacrifice. We talked in a previous video about how I don't have any parental leave, basically, whereas I would have had some paid parental leave at the prior firm. But it's okay, y'all. Like, it's truthfully okay. And why I feel richer, I said that at the beginning of the video, right? Why I'm feeling the most rich I've ever felt is that when I was making all that money in 2022, all of it was going to student loans, y'all. Like, y'all saw the rapid debt repayment in 2022. So all of that extra money was going to student loans. So when we stopped paying off student loans, we were done with that. Not that we're done paying off student loans, but when we slowed that down, we were actually able to increase our spending while I was making less. And that is why I feel richer than ever before, because truthfully, I have more discretionary income now than I did when I was making more money.
Well, we had the discretionary income. We were just putting it towards something
It didn't feel discretionary because it was all going to student loans. That's the point. Now it's actually going in our pockets to like actually play with, you know?
Because I know someone out there might be like, that don't make no sense.
But that's the key. Because to us, and I think that's honestly where you see the mindset by me unintentionally saying that, was it didn't feel like it was mine, right? It belonged to Nelnet. It belonged to Mohila and Fed Loan Servicing, right? It didn't belong to us. So it felt like it was never mine to begin with. Like, I was looking at my tax return before we filmed this video, and I was like, where was all this money? Like, where did it go? And I know exactly where it went. It went to Nelnet and Mohila and Fed Loan Servicing.
And the point that she had brought up about even like family planning things, like that was another reason where at that juncture, we were kind of starting to think about like, okay, is this now the time to having kids, where her old job, like, she's right. I think that she, you know, we mentioned in a previous video, she had a pretty rough time with pregnancy so far. And this job has definitely given her the flexibility. She's remote. She has the ability to kind of work whenever she wants to, as long as the work gets done. Whereas with her other job that she left, that was more of a 9 to 5 and still expected to be on, you know, a little bit after 5, you know, that type of stuff. You know how it goes, but again, it's like at least they were compensating you for it, and at least you knew that, okay, with this family planning thing, that they were going to be giving her like a lot more leave than this place is not giving her anything at all. if we didn't live in Massachusetts, we'd be in a
have
much
nothing.
different situation. So again, I just chalked that one up to God just worked it out.
Listen.
Because that's not anything that I don't think we were really even thinking about that. I think her mind frame at that moment was just like, all right, I need to move. And again, different conversation, but it's like, check your benefits and really know what you're leaving and what you're going into.
And I knew that. I obviously knew that I wasn't going to have leave before I signed with the dotted line with this new job. So we knew that when I took the job. What we didn't foresee, of course, is that pregnancy would be so hard on me and that I would literally need the flexibility, right, to work at different hours because it was rough. There were some days where I could not, like, regular business hours, what were those? Like, they did not exist for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm working whenever I quite literally find 2 drops of energy to get something done. And that just would not have worked, to be honest, at my prior job. It would have been so much
It just wasn't the structure that job had. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, for the
nothing
people
against them. It was great for them.
That works great. But for her situation, it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Is that, just that transition, it worked out.
So what are some practical budgeting strategies that you can implement, and we can share some things that we've implemented following a pay cut? What are some things you would recommend to people?
So I'll say it again, by putting things in your budget that actually matter to you. So when we made this shift and we had decided that, okay, we had paid off like $90,000 of student loan debt, and we were still putting some money down, for the repayment period, time when student loan forbearance ended, we were like, okay, we're comfortable, we're at a good spot. Like, let's shift this. We've been, to others, like our family members, oh, you're going here, you're going there. And I think that we felt like a little restricted, where it's like, we're taking maybe a vacation here or there, but our travel budget was like $3,000 for the year. So we had to get really crafty with how we could make $3,000 work. So, I was combing the internet webs and, okay, where's the cheapest flight? Where can we go? How can I get this deal? And we still do that. We still do those things, but now we just have a little bit more room because it's like, all right, we value traveling, so let's let our budget reflect that. So instead of this $3,000 for the year that was really dependent on her bonus, it was like, all right, what bonus does she get? Number. Exactly, which that was like pretty risky. So it really wasn't in our budget at all. We were waiting for her bonus to come in, and then whatever that was after taxes and returning tithe, then we would say, okay, well, that's what we have left. Where when she switched to this job, it was like, okay, we got to put it in the budget. It's what's important. We're reducing student loans, so we're going to put that in there. And we, came up with a number that worked for us. And now we're much more comfortable where it's like, hey, let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do that. We also put into our budget date nights. It was there before, so don't think on it. Was there before, but we upped it quite a bit. Where it's like, hey, we're working for all this money.
And like I said, it was all going to student loans. You can tell I'm a little bitter about it, but it's okay.
Where it's like we're putting a majority of this money towards student loans or towards some goal, right? Where it's like, oh, the $15,000 for baby, or, a little bit extra money in case something in the house breaks or needs to be fixed. Where we're padding all of these emergency funds, which at that period of our life, that was important. But now that we don't necessarily feel that we need to always just be hoarding all this cash, it's like, let's live a little bit, let's,
actually
again,
enjoy the fruits of our labor.
Put that into our budget so that, again, we're not feeling like we're like, oh my goodness, you want to go on a vacation, but, we don't have enough money, and being realistic with it, right? Like, we didn't go from 3,000 to 3,500. We went from 3,000 to 5,000, which for some people doesn't seem like that much of a bump. But, for all of the travel hacking things that I've been doing, like $2,000, like that, we could go somewhere with that. I know how to make that stretch and how to make that work. So that's what we did, is just put into our budget what we value and what's important to us.
Yeah, and for us, that meant expanding a lot of areas that fulfilled us, but the concept is the same. A lot of times we synonymize taking a pay cut with restriction, which it definitely can lean in that direction. But like Meshach said, the most important thing is to prioritize. At this point, you have to be ruthless about what your values are and what your priorities are. That's the way that I like to even teach budgeting when it comes to working with clients about how to make an effective budget. You have to be ruthless about prioritization, right? Really take a hard look at everything you're currently spending money on and really ask yourself the hard questions. What do I actually value? What do I actually enjoy? Of course, what are necessities? And if things are not necessities, what can I cut? Or even if they are necessities, how can I rejigger this thing so that I can still get what I need, but at a more approachable price point, or in a way that I can, do the things that I love without spending as much, right? So for example, you might take a pay cut and maybe you love travel. When you're putting all the numbers together, it's just not cutting it after all of your needs, right? Or essential expenses. How can I get up to date on all the latest travel hacking things so I can make the trip still work with the limited money that I have, right? When it comes to housing, when I, back in the day was still a single gal, what I did was I moved from my studio apartment I was living in by myself and moved into an older 1-bedroom with a roommate, right? I still had my needs. I still had a shelter over my head. I was still content, but now I was paying half what I was paying before, right? Because I took on a roommate. And so that may not be the exact case or scenario for you, but you just have to think about what are those areas that you can realistically pull back on, and the areas that you might want to expand, and the areas that you just need to get creative and crafty in. Because getting creative is really the name of the game when it comes to budgeting post pay cuts.
Hey, ain't no shame in it. When you go to your mama's house, get some toilet paper, get some paper towel, whatever works for you, that's gonna help you, do what you gotta do. I say this jokingly, but I'm kind of serious. Don't take advantage, but find ways that it works. I saw on social media someone saying, as long as my job got toilet paper, I'ma have toilet paper. While I don't do that, I get you, do what you gotta do. Sometimes you do have to get crafty. We don't want to do anything illegal, but get crafty with how you make things work for you.
Yes, you have to get creative. Don't just, think, oh, well, it's less money, my life is over, I can't do anything fun, or I can't do anything that's not an essential. You just gotta get crafty.
And like in a Kiva situation, also think about yes, less money, but more time, right? In her situation, and that might be the same situation for you. That more time might allow you to start your side hustle, start your business, and where, in that one day that you're not working, you are able to earn way more than you would have probably earned working at someone else's job, or just, giving you back time to do the things that you value. What if, what you value isn't necessarily something that you can quantify and put a number on? What if you want to spend more time with your kids, spend more time with other loved ones? Now you have that time to be able to do that. And again, once your needs are met, if that's what you value, then do that. Tomorrow's definitely not promised. So I would also say that, again, some of the things that are not necessarily monetary values that are also important, don't look down on those and say, well, I could be out making money. Yes, you can make money, but when that person is gone from this earth, you can't get that time back. So don't take that for granted either.
Yeah, and that dovetails really nicely into also understanding when taking a pay cut makes sense, right? And to get your time back could be one of those reasons, right? Maybe you're going from a job that paid more but you had to commute to a job that's fully remote. That time, that commuting time can be precious, right? And it can even allow you to save money, not just on gas, but also on things like, okay, now you got time to do laundry in between meetings, or it's just like car insurance, right? All kinds of ways.
Car maintenance, so many things that can save you.
Right, exactly. And so even though you're taking a pay cut, what you're left with at the end of the day might be the same, if not more, depending on how creative and crafty you can get. And so that's one situation, a scenario, definitely when taking a pay cut might make sense, right? Sometimes it's not always. A lot of people are quick to look at the dollar amount, but they also don't think about things like benefits, right? Which can be a difference of thousands and thousands of dollars every year, right? I'm making less, but I get free health insurance. Or I'm making less, but their deductible is much lower on this plan than the other. I'm making less, but they're giving me $100 a month toward my student loans. You know what I'm saying? Like, just different things that you have to do a holistic comparison and scenario. Don't just look at the top line.
Yeah.
We need to look at bottom line. Okay.
Sure,
bottom
those
line.
benefits, like, it depends on where you work, because I was getting paid less than Akiva was, but my employers, you know, in health, not healthcare, in education overall, I would say the ones that I've worked for, they really value that retirement aspect. So where it's like, I at this point probably got more money in retirement than she does, and I didn't put it there.
Not quite, but it's okay. We're very close. We're very close.
And I didn't even put
That's
half.
the difference. I had to put half of that
mostly
there. Me.
That was my employer putting that money in there.
Exactly.
So,
and we're like neck and neck when it comes to retirement.
So there's a lot of things. You got to really look at the big picture. And again, you know, for you, well, we wouldn't recommend this if retirement is not something that's important to you, where it's like, hey, you know, the money is better or things work out for those other scenarios that we mentioned, whether it's time or, you know, whatever, then cool, kudos to you. But I would just say, think about those benefits. Look at the big picture, not just the dollar amount that they're putting on the offer letter. Look at everything. Because even with that higher salary or whatever it is that you might have been leaving, you might have been paying like $600-$700 for your family's insurance versus this next place that you're going to. The premiums might be $10-$20, and I have honestly seen that stuff. So companies like that do exist. It's just about what's going to work for you, but you just want to think about everything, not just what you're getting paid. Because also our tax situation is also different, but you know, that's a whole nother video.
So what is your take on taking a pay cut for happiness? Let us know in the comments below if you've ever done this, if you're considering this, your best tips and thoughts and strategies. Let's get a conversation going in the comments. And if you are wondering how you are really doing on the road to financial success, we have got a super fun, less than 2-minute quiz for you to take. Yes, we mean it. It's 2 minutes, and yes, we mean it. It is fun. We are biased, but it is fun. So many people have told me that. So you will, when you take this quiz, receive from us helpful information on how to advance in your finances in the areas that you need help with the most. So definitely go down there, take that quiz. Like I said, it's literally 2 minutes, and you'll get all of that helpful information from us.
So unfortunately, we've come to the end of another great video. But just to make sure you don't miss when we post more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so that you always know when we post. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!